Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Hey.
Oh, hey. Is it time to do the podcast?
It's time.
Okay. I'm here.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Welcome, folks. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, it's been a busy morning here.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
Jim was trying to rewire a light fixture.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sure what I did. Every time you started to run the dishwasher, the garage door open, and I don't know what I did.
So we had an electrician out this morning.
Yeah.
And it was for someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's an easy fix.
Yeah.
Because the minute you told him what was wrong, he was like, "Mer, I bet you I can tell you what happened."
Yeah, his facial expression said, "I can fix this in 5
absolutely.
seconds."
And we're the tie-in to what we're talking about today is there's a tie-in of loving what you do.
Oh yeah.
And there's got to be a sense of just accomplishment and satisfaction that comes from someone who can solve a problem the everyday person just can't.
Yeah.
So, and I'll do a side little. I know we're talking about buy here, pay here dealers, but I'll just do a quick plug. This world is in need of electricians, and it's a great profession.
Okay.
So. I've been watching different reports that say that there's like electricians and plumbers and welders and those kind of service industry are it doesn't matter how your customer's everybody.
Yeah, good point.
Absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
So
I got one quick announcement. If you'll indulge me a moment, let me get this image shared because I just realized I never got it into the broadcast. But our friends in Iowa, Kristen and the dealer Brad, are celebrating 30 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So she's actually, I reached out to her about being on the podcast today, and she has a chamber event. They're marking
making a big deal out of it in their community.
And as they should.
As they should. And you also know that Sorensen is, they're pretty active. They help out an awful lot. And they have a really great, Kristen we've had her on the show numerous times and different like event things that we've done and just really has great numbers when she's part of E8 as well. And so her numbers look really good.
She was part of the meeting we had last night, and our conversation was we actually wrapped up the meeting by asking about, how much you guys love what you do. It's kind of not with the thought that we were doing this, but because for those who haven't seen it, we've got a post out there for dealers who want to come and record. We picked 6 questions. I've got currently 13 questions to choose from. You pick 6 of them, come and do a recording session with us. And so we started those this week.
Yeah. And there was a bonus question.
There's a bonus question, but also one of the questions was, how much do you love what you do? And so far, the dealers that have come have chosen to answer that, and the results have been high.
Yeah.
But I think that the thing I want to share about Kristen is the general manager, been there for 13 years, and they have a really great culture, and I think they love what they do. I also, while I have it on the screen, give these folks a follow on social if you really want to get a feel for what we would recommend for organic social interaction and just getting to know. They're kind of starting to fire up a TikTok page, but certainly they have a Facebook page as well established, and they have some fun over there. So check them out.
I've really, like I said, I've enjoyed hearing what Kristen has to say, and she works really hard on that culture piece. In there, and that kind of ties in a little bit to what we're doing as well today, our topic.
I would say about that, Michelle, I think they put in effort, but I think they have fun. I don't think it's
but there's a difference. Those kind of things flow downstream.
Yeah.
They flow down.
Of course.
And so when you're given the bandwidth, I mean, as a general manager, obviously, the owner is like, go for it, do.
Yeah.
And she creates an environment where they can have fun.
Yeah.
And they can do the things, because a lot of times, you know, those wanting to do fun things and having an enjoyable environment to work in does not start with the low man on the totem pole.
Yeah, and you can't fake it. Like you can't, you
No.
can't show up if you don't love what you do and you're not
Yeah.
happy to be there. It's going to show up. I mean, you can't be authentic and being enthusiastic if you don't really love what you do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of also ties into, what we had in mind to talk about today.
Yeah.
So, when we asked the question, I think this is something we don't really talk about a lot. It's like, most of our conversations with dealers as coaches is around cost of car and, collections and delinquency and all that kind of stuff. And we don't talk enough about this part about how much do you love it? Like, for some, it's been a challenging stretch, Michelle. Like this business has gotten more challenging, more difficult in the last year or two.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a time to do a little bit of a gut check and just kind of check in with dealers and how much do we love it? Do we want to continue to do it? Is obviously the unasked question in that, but it's like, do we love what we do? And I can say as a former dealer, I really enjoyed it. Like before I was ever a dealer, I was an entrepreneur. I was a partner in a business when I was 24 years old. And so I came from a real strong desire to be involved in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And then buy here, pay here in particular as a way to be an entrepreneur was really intriguing, especially coming out of the new car space. I had been a salesperson and sales manager in new cars before I got into buy here, pay here. And when you step away from that environment where you're depending on a lot of other people to be able to do business in a buy here, pay here environment, especially as a dealer principal, I mean, you get to decide. You get to write the rules, so to speak. I mean, obviously we have compliance and things to, regulations to live within. But as far as how we do business and the way we portray ourselves in business and how we set ourselves up and who we agree to underwrite, that's the beautiful, flexible part of that.
If you were to say, like, what were your top 3 reasons why you loved? What was attractive and why you loved?
It was
when you had your dealership.
It was the independence element that I mentioned, like autonomy. I said, autonomy, right? The other is just the idea of just helping people, like the idea that you're able to have an impact on lives practically every day. Like if it's not on the customer who needs a car today, it's the customer who needs a little help on a payment or whatever the case is going to be. So your opportunity to really make a difference and to have a positive impact on lives was there. And then I would say versus other kinds of businesses, there was a comfort level associated with, and I have a quote here I want to share from one of the dealers who answered our poll this morning. But I have, I would say the other thing was this comfort level. And we saw it in COVID. I'll give you a quick example. It was the idea that you have cash flow as a buy here, pay here dealer. You enjoy cash flow off of the contracts from last month and last year and all those active contracts that are paying, $500 a month or whatever the number is. Then you have that cash flow. Even if you stop selling for a week or a month or 3 months, like you did in COVID, you still are enjoying the cash flow off of those contracts. And so it's that's an appealing part of the business is once you make that investment and commitment and take the risk to grow that and the investment to grow the portfolio, then you enjoy that cash flow.
It's one of the things, the second thing you mentioned about being able to help people.
Sure.
It's an interesting thing to observe how, a lot of straight line businesses, and those of you who are newer to the podcast, we speak in things of straight lines and squiggly lines. Squiggly lines are the intangibles, the emotion, the things you can't put a dollar sign typically to. And then the straight lines are, like all of the policies, procedures, the administrative, the all of that. And it's an interesting thing how as we have talked to colleagues and friends and all of that are business owners, how cultural impact, community impact is becoming something that's important to people.
Yeah.
And buy here, pay here dealers have been in that business since the birth of buy here, pay here. It's an impact business. It really is. It's you have the ability to just really impact your communities.
If they choose to.
Yes,
I mean, we've met
yes.
dealers who are concerned about themselves first, and they don't really put a lot of effort into, into that community aspect. But yeah, I mean,
with a lot of the dealers that we've talked to, I especially love when we speak to those that are in this business to make a difference, and are in this business because they've experienced being on the other side of this coin, or it's interesting too, because on those stories, it's either I had such a great experience, or I had such a negative experience and I don't want that to happen to others, kind of thing. Most of the time it's a positive experience, which is awesome. But so we're here to talk about why, do you love what you do and why it matters?
Yeah. Let me show a poll before we get into all that. Let me show the poll. And this is, I just posted this morning, so they're barely, a limited number of polls or answers coming in so far. But if you could see on the screen there that the question I wrote was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love being a buy here, pay here, or lease here, pay here dealer? Write-ins are allowed, and comments are encouraged. So we got some comments I'm also going to share, but you can see that we had a couple of votes, it looks like, for 8 out of 10. We had more votes for 7 out of 10. And then the rest were in the 9 and 10. Okay. So there's just barely, one or two votes. It didn't show the bar. Yeah. But it's so
most everybody is a 7 or above. The majority are a 10 and a 9. And it's hard to love something every day. Yeah. Like you just said, it's been a hard for a lot of dealers. It's been a hard stretch. And I'm sure that there are things that they in whole they love the business, and in individual parts of it's like, gosh, I hate that. Well,
yeah.
Not my favorite.
Listen, as a former dealer, I know that even the dealers who would say I love it, it's a 10 out of 10, right? Then even those people would say there are days that are frustrating. There are days that are stressful. You have that, but you're going to have that in lots. If you're the boss, if you're the check writer and the person on the business, then that's going to be probably true with any business. So you would like to be having those challenges and frustrations and stresses in a business that you love.
Yes.
And it's the kind of work that you love. So I think just because you say it's a 10 out of 10 doesn't mean there aren't days that are, you have challenges and frustrations and irritations. And obviously, those who are outside this business who might hear us don't know that dealers have been having a rough stretch in terms of charge-offs. You alluded to that, but it's like they're experiencing high repos. The economy circumstances seem to be driving some of that, but we're monitoring that pretty closely. And I would say overall, it looks like our dealers are still tracking in a very consistent way. It's kind of that old thing I talk about. It's not going to change a lot for us in our business. If dealers are experiencing higher charge-off, the question becomes, how well are they doing with their recoveries against those charge-offs? And so how much does it really affect them financially? And overall, I can say that what we're seeing in our V8 numbers is that most dealers are pretty flat. They're not, there's nothing dramatic. There are exceptions. We have people in there who that would be the case, but more of them by far are pretty stable. Right. And so this is part of what, can be loved about this business. Let me share a quote from some of our members or some dealers rather of that group who commented. I only showed a photo first of John Devacci. Some will know John. So John gave me permission to share his quote this morning. I didn't ask him about permission to share his photo. I went
it's just helpful sometimes to put a face.
So let me tell a fun story about John. When I met him finally, I knew him through social media, like a lot of people. I finally met him at the conference in Vegas last June. And when I met him, he said, "I've been looking forward to showing you that my business card is transparent." So the Wednesday thing. So this is John Devacci. Like he lives and breathes transparency and integrity in business. And so let me share his quote. You want to read it, Michelle? Want to get it on there?
Yeah, absolutely. It says, "Best way to be in business. It's where the rubber meets the road and truly helping people. If I were a salesman at a franchise store, I wouldn't hit it. Wouldn't hit the same. you'd have to make them walk the plank to the outside finance company, be at the mercy of the warranty and service contract company, and wouldn't be able to call the shots to help them through a tough time. As a buyer payer dealer, we have strong resilience in market turbulence. Not only we are held steady financially by a book of established customers, but we also get to have a higher level of satisfaction with the depth of the relationships we build with them.
Amen and hallelujah. So thanks for that comment, and thanks for permission to share it with others.
In the church of Buy Here.
That's right. That's right.
That receives an amen.
It's like our friend Karen Barnett say, preach. Yeah. So I love it, John. That's the way I feel about the business. And obviously he alluded to the same thing I talked about, where you enjoy the cash flow off of the current book of business that's already there. So retail dealers didn't have that. And that's why I say they felt it, like retail dealers felt that more in COVID when they had to be closed, like they were shut down for a period of some weeks. And imagine, still got rent, still got utilities and what have you.
You could shut things down and you were cash heavy.
A lot of dealers accumulated a lot of cash during that time and paid down debt, so it's just an example. One of the things that is to love about this business, but I think that's more straight lines element. What I really wanted to find out is how much do you get excited about, getting out of bed and getting to the dealership and doing the work and working with your team. And we've seen people make comments about how they were away and she won't mind if I share that Melanie Goldman, I saw commented about that. She was away on vacation and she returned and she couldn't wait to get back to her team. She just loves her team.
I love it.
Yeah.
Our folks at Dealer Gems, love you guys out there in Florida. We need the darkness to appreciate the light.
Amen. Yeah, for sure.
Amen.
Yeah. I'm going to church on a Wednesday.
We are going to church on a Wednesday. Did you have another quote that you wanted to share?
I do, yeah. So this one, actually, I didn't get Adrian's permission, but he won't mind if I share this. I'll just look and make sure.
Adrian, our friends down in southern Utah.
Yeah. So Adrian said, he's
the general manager?
I believe so, yes. Yeah. And he'd say I'd say a solid 9 out of 10. After 20 years in the business, it isn't always easy. So again, that's, it's not to say that this business is easy. It's got you got a lot of balls to keep in the air, right? With this business. And so it's got its challenges, but it's can be quite rewarding. He said, I love the challenge, the relationships we build with our customers and the impact we get to make in our community. Every day is different and there's always something new to learn. The only reason it's not a 10 is that there's always room to improve, grow, and refine the process, but that's what keeps it exciting. Buenos dias, he says. So this is, these are examples of how people, think about this business. And I think for people that are outside the business, and one of the things I look forward to bringing back, Michelle, is we started to record these, the sessions with these dealers where they pick 6 questions. And I haven't had anybody select a question yet, but one of the questions I wrote was, when you meet somebody at a dinner party who's not from your business, it's just somebody from around town or whatever, how do you describe to them what you do? Because I always found that was interesting. Like, you and I have that as coaches to just explain about the buy here, pay here business. And for dealers, when they meet somebody, how do they tell them what they do without sounding like they're, because there's a stigma, and so we have to be mindful of that stigma sometimes when we meet new people.
Oh my gosh, I could wordsmith the hell out of that.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I help credit disadvantaged people be able to get their feet back underneath them and help solve problems.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, tell me more. And it's like, I help them get into a vehicle so they can get to work. And I think there's an awful lot that you could have some fun with, like your elevator pitch.
Yeah.
And, we work with a lot of friends and things that are in the entrepreneur and business, and they're always, tell me what you do. And it's a continual refining because it's a continual refining of that elevator pitch about what it is you do and why it matters.
Yeah. So let's talk about one of the things of why it matters. I feel like for us to love what we do is the natural, and we didn't go looking for any real science here. We just said, in our experience as coaches and people who work with a lot of dealers in a lot of places, one of the reasons it matters to love what you do, and one of the ways it shows up is with team attitude and culture. So back to the Melanie Goldman things. When you love what you do, your team will feel that. They will feed off of that from you. And they they won't really fit in with the culture if they don't also love being a part of it, right? If they enjoy the daily work but it's not to say that's not naive. It's not that they don't have days that are hard and they don't have to deal with things that are frustrating, but to get excited about showing up for work and being willing to stay and do what's necessary and whatever else, then if you as the dealer owner love what you do, then that's going to spill over to your team, which is going to spill over to your customers and even those people that you do business with in your community. It's a natural extension. It's not, again, it's something we can't fake. So if you genuinely love what you do, then people are going to see that. And I think I could go one step further. If I'm the dealer and I show up every day and people see that I mean what I say when I enjoy helping customers solve problems. If they see that I don't just say that, I live it. I expect it, right? And so this starts to show up with the team when they can say, they know that I've got their back and that means something to me. And so this is part of what I think it's inevitable that the team is going to pick that up from the leader, right?
Yeah, I also think, this is a great opportunity to kind of chat a little bit about like what it is you love. And because helping others is something that White Hat Wave really, really encourages that to be like a cornerstone. And that's the important thing. There are those out there that just love the money.
Yeah, that's true.
And so if what you love about the business is the money, that doesn't trickle down the same way to your team.
Good point.
So, and the money's great. And
it can be.
But I'm just, what I'm trying to express is that, having a spirit of loving your neighbor and helping your neighbor, helping the disadvantaged, that really helps create an environment where a team feels part of something bigger than themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, in contrast, if what you love is making money,
right,
and there's, there may not be the trickle down and the, or the celebration, and there's just an awful lot about how you're allowing your team to participate in the things that you love about the business.
Good.
Because when you do, it could be like, I love that we get to make cars look amazing or whatever. And it just is so, you add your team into that, and then they're like, we've got the best looking cars in the whole city, or, so it's when we open up opportunities for our teams to join us in the things that we love, that really creates just a beautiful culture. And no one likes to work somewhere that they don't love what they do. I think that, my one of the things about culture, I think, is that we get to say that. So you mentioned cleaning up the cars. Like if I'm a detailer or whatever my position is in the dealership, I get to understand this is who we are in the community. So the cars are the cars, right? It's the relationship with the customers, and kind of that stuff is more culture. What's happening over there? I've just got a cord sitting on my leg, and every time I move, I can hear it. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So anyway, the idea is that we get to everybody in the team gets to understand who we are, which to me is part of the culture element. And when we love what we do, then again, that's gonna show up. It's gonna spill out, and we can't really hide it. Like it's gonna spill out with the team and everywhere else that we go. Another reason that it matters to love what you do is that it's gonna affect stress levels. This business, as I said, this is something that I think we see that with dealers, it can be a challenging business. And we see a lot of dealers, we see in social media in particular, a lot of dealers expressing frustration and even anger. And it's like, man, maybe this business is not for you. Like, it's just, if you're not in it for the long game and you're really straight lines about it, it's a pretty tough business. And if you don't have these same kind of underlying benefits to being in the business, then maybe it's not the right business. I would just say we got to monitor stress levels there and see, is it affecting our well-being? Is there someplace else we should try to make our living, that would be a little less frustrating? Because I think if you're I've talked about this in the past where I worked with dealers who were just like, I think the customer should just make their payment. I make my payments. Why don't they just make their payment? And I think if you're going to be in this business with the expectation the customer is going to make their payments on time, every time, just because you do, you're just setting yourself up for a lot of...
You would never have a credit score below 700.
Yeah, and you would have...
and
as a dealer owner, you're going to have a lot of frustration. You're just setting yourself up for frustration and disappointment day after day after day, and it's going to wear on you.
I did a search on why it's important, the science behind why it's important, and one of the things it talked about was improves mental and physical health, which is part of the stress levels. People who are satisfied with their work experience less stress. Are less preoccupied with physical symptoms and have better psychological well-being. I don't know about you. I'm talking to everybody out there and to my sweetheart. When there is something that you just don't like, and you have to, oh my gosh, it's for me, my physical reaction is just like, it is procrastinated to the ends of the earth, and that just sits there like this thing, creates more stress. And then when I finally get it done, usually it was not as big of a deal, but at least it's gone. So
but if it feels like drudgery,
if it feels like drudgery,
then you procrastinate. You put it off.
You put it off, or you hire someone.
Maybe. But this is it's another reason to obviously want to enjoy what you do. And then the last one for me would be just the resilience and longevity, which kind of all tied to everything else we've already talked about. It's like this business is really not for folks who, if you don't really enjoy it. And especially the piece that we would say, and by the way, when you talked about that thing about, if you're focused on making money, when we say that white hat dealers are interested in the success of the customer, it doesn't mean that the white hat dealers aren't also making a great living. Profit, cash flow, and what's more is, to me, the white hat element, the reason we promote that as much as we do is because it's been our experience that translates into longevity and sustainability. And so this is why we don't just want our dealers to be profitable. We want them to enjoy positive cash flow. We want them to be profitable. We want them to have low stress levels. We want them to be available to go and spend time with their family. And we want them to be an asset to their community for a very long time. The end. Right. It's like that's what we want. And so it's not about less profit. It's about staying power.
I was in my working years, done a ton of different jobs. And I remember I've waited tables, done that an awful lot. It's interesting because all of my kids have too at one time or another. It's one of those things we can like, oh my gosh, do you remember? And we talk about how things are different today. But I remember a seasoned waitress. Do we even use that word anymore? Server, a seasoned server. When I first started, I was like counting my tips in the middle of the day. And she's like, stop doing that. I'm like, why? She says, the money will come. Just focus on the work and focus on the people and focus on helping people and focus on serving and focus on having a good time and all of that. And the money will come. Right. And she was right about that. That when I focused on the money, I got more stressed.
Yeah. I could have, if I didn't know you were going to tell this story, I could have found the article. I saw something where a waitress was arrested because she went out to the car and threw something at a customer in the parking lot because they gave a lousy tip. So, It's like that's the other end of the thing.
Well, exactly. So if you don't pay any attention and you just scoop it and put it and scoop it and put it, and at the end of the day, but when you focus on the wrong thing, when you focus on how people are behaving badly, that might have just been one table in an entire slew, and it changed her attitude enough that she would leave the premises and go throw something at someone.
Yeah, and how could that not affect? How could it not affect the next customer? The next customer is going to get lousy service because the server went to jail. So it's like it's going to affect your day.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we covered the parts, Michelle, that I wanted to cover today. I appreciate you folks tuning in. One quick word: by the time we convene for the next White Hat Wednesday, there's a possibility I'll be able to show folks the new white hat that has been ordered finally after all this time.
Oh,
I have not.
Are we going?
Yeah. It's coming.
No, it is coming, but maybe not next week because we're going to Utah for Thanksgiving. We land Tuesday night, and I don't know.
We land Monday night.
Wait, that's right. Oh, I'm like totally screwed up.
She made.
Yeah.
Michelle needs a vacation.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a I know we went to New Hampshire, but that was kind of just to relax.
It was just a few weeks ago. It didn't last you very long. I think Michelle needs to do a vacation about every 4 weeks, it sounds like. So
what a great idea.
Yeah.
I love that idea. All right. Well, let me see here. Let me pull up some stuff we're gonna do this.
As we close up the show.
We're gonna close up the show. We hear from some of our dealer friends that it's like, in between or when I'm out, I'll take a listen. And so thanks so much for joining us. And if there's something that you would like to have us have a conversation about, or would like to be part of the conversation and come on the show,
or just also stay tuned and find out when I finally get around to decorating my wall. We did hers, so I get to see it. It's flat. Yeah.
All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. We will see you on Friday. Yeah, and then the following Wednesday we will be in Utah.
Yep.
So, all right, everybody, have a great day. Thanks again for joining me.